Hey Bat fans, Luke here in the Luke-mobile, sitting here in the rain, getting ready to talk about this week's Batman book, and that is Batman issue number 44. And I have a nice variant cover done by Joelle Jones. The main cover is done by Michael Yanin, and the reason why I'm showing you the variant cover instead of the main cover, or at least why I'm not showing both, is DCBS strikes again. My book's probably not coming until probably Wednesday next week. I'm not going to air out dirty laundry as far as the issues of why books are getting to some of us late. I don't know for sure, so it'll be purely speculation. But what I did this week is that there's certain books that they're going to go to the top of my pile to read. Obviously, when like Doomsday Clock's out, that's probably go right to the top, or if not the top, one of the first books I read. Same thing with Metal. When that came out, that was always one of the first books I read. And then with the Batman books, like Batman Detective, they're right up there too. So it really depends on what book is coming out. But generally, Batman or Detective is going to be one of the very first books I read. And I don't like to wait too long, because when you wait a little too long, the spoiler temptation gets kind of harder to resist when you hang out, obviously, in the YouTube community. So what I decided to do this week was go out and buy it. Essentially double dip, but I kind of come to the realization that if this is going to be somewhat of the norm with DCBS, where I'm not getting my books either on Friday or Saturday anymore, because that's literally been the trend lately. I'm getting them Monday, Tuesday, now freaking Wednesday, who knows. I'm not going to be double dipping unless my buddy has an extra copy, or unless there's something. I'm just not going to wait again damn near a week to read my books. I'm just going to wait until I get it, which unfortunately means that these reviews I try to get up either on Saturday or Sunday might come up, a couple of days after that. We'll see. I will get them up. It's just a matter of when, and I apologize. I'm just not going to sit there and fork out more money because DCBS or the post office, whoever it is over there in Memphis land, gets their act together. So either way, so this variant cover, again, this is done by Joelle Jones. I like it. The only thing I kind of have an issue with it is that the main cover is basically, it has Batman looking in front of the mirror, and then the reflection would be Batman, and obviously and standing in front of the mirror is Bruce Wayne. And he's kind of wearing his wedding tuxedo, and at the bottom, I forget what it said. But it's something old, something new, something like that. But if you're looking at this cover and the way it's kind of laid out with the other one, it's implied that the Batman one, if it had both lines standing up next to each other, Batman will be over here, and he's kind of off-center looking this way, whereas Catwoman's looking this way. But if you look at how the words are written here, on the Batman cover, the one Michael Yanin did, there's not a ... If I remember right, looking on DC's website, it's implied that it's the start of the phrase. This is obviously a continuation / rhyme. But when you're standing up, again, Batman's clearly on the right, but the verbiage, it's kind of backwards. So what I would have probably done is either I would have had Batman to the left oriented. I just basically would have flip-flopped it. Or I would have had Catwoman cover actually start with the phrase, where you have on the right Batman's cover kind of have the continuation. It's a nitpick, but both are really nice. I mean, I did like Michael Yanin's cover on that as well. But that's enough on the cover. Talk about a little bit of the story. The story, believe it, this is not a whole lot goes in there. This is basically I would almost call it a standalone, but it's obviously a continuation of the theme. What I didn't look is I think if I remember right, the engagement issue, I think, was issue number 24. So if that's the case, that's 20 odd issues. And I like how DC's kind of handling this engagement story arc as lead up to the wedding in issue number 50, is that that it wasn't rushed. They didn't sit there do, the engagement and then like 10 issues later, or, maybe a month later they're going right into the wedding. They really kind of stretched this out, and they really kind of did a deep dive into how this is obviously impact other people that Batman and Catwoman know. And in addition to obviously their relationship. So I like how that got, I'm not going to say stretch it out, but they let it breathe. They let it breathe for character development, which I thought was really well done. And this issue, again, this is it's a break before we kind of go into the next part of the story, which I believe is the one with the Joker. It's going to be kind of interesting. This kind of bridges the gap. So it's a standalone. It's obviously, I would think you would almost consider it a fill-in, but it continues the theme that's been kind of investigated, or kind of we'll call it just kind of analyzed, might be a better word, of this wedding. It's been going on for almost 20 issues now, and what this issue is in basic parts is Catwoman trying to find her wedding dress, but it's done in an interesting way. Whereas it's done where you have in current day actually Catwoman actually going out to find her dress. She goes to a place and she finds it, and it's kind of like what Catwoman unfortunately doesn't have in this is, I'm definitely not a female, so I wouldn't know by experience, but from what I gather, when a girl gets married, the whole thing about getting their dress, it's a big event. Some people actually bring a couple people, might bring their mother, or their future mother-in-law, the sister friends, and they go out and they make an actual event of it. They'll go out and have something nice to eat, and they get to the actual dress store, and it's like another social event in itself. They'll have champagne, and they'll converse and them have a really good time with making it a memorable event. So unfortunately, Catwoman doesn't have that. So this issue is kind of her way of going about herself, breaking into a clothing store and actually having that event by herself. Juxtaposed with another story, which is done in the past, where it's kind of a study of, for lack of a better term, how Bruce and Selina's relationship kind of evolved throughout the years. But not only that, it's an evolution of all the costumes that Catwoman has worn throughout the DC continuity. Now, I didn't do my homework, and I should have. So a lot of these Catwoman costumes, I don't know if they were literally in Batman's stories, or is this some of them are, and just Tom King kind of taking some liberties with Mikel Janin and really hit home the point that, obviously, where Catwoman's trying to find her dress, her costume now, and it's been a journey. Obviously, the journey of Catwoman, her appearance also has evolved throughout time, and she's always trying to find the right costume as well. So I didn't do that sort of homework, but some of them you clearly know. Like you're getting into some of the purple Catwoman suits, so you know that's legit, and then this almost reminds you a little bit of like Hush. They're in the Batcave where Batman ultimately reveals his identity to Catwoman, and they kiss later on. So you definitely get that feel that a lot of this, if not all, I just can't confirm, is all, Catwoman costumes throughout time. And I like how it was done where Joelle Jones tells the current story, and Mikel Janin is kind of doing the flashback. And what I like how Tom King kind of does this story, again, I kind of mentioned this point before. Scott Snyder, I think, for me anyway, I know he has some criticism that might be valid by some. I'm not going to argue that. But I think for me, my favorite writer right now, if he's not up there, I got to really think about it. But I think for me, right now, I think Scott Snyder is my favorite writer. And I will say, Scott Snyder couldn't do an issue like this. There is the current day stuff. There is little dialogue at all. You'll see. Matter of fact, no, I don't think there is any. On the current day stuff, there's no dialogue at all. The flashback, even at the end, where we kind of wrap up the issue. The only thing that would be somewhat of a communication between Selina and someone else is her talking to Alfred, and it's just, her putting her finger up to the mouth, say shh, type of thing. But I don't think Snyder can really do something like this. And it kind of goes back to the comparison I had between Snyder's run and King's run, is that Snyder, or sometimes to his fault by some, he'll really go in depth into something. He'll take this whole story, I think, by Snyder, just Selina going to trying to find a dress, would have been, while this was an issue, I think everything in context probably would have been just a page in one of Snyder's story, in that he would have took the concept, I don't think even would have been one page. Probably be stretched out even more. Actually, yeah, I think that's a better way of explaining it. He would have took the concept of Catwoman trying to find her dress and really, really stretched it out, and just kind of going into extreme detail in the littlest things. Like, to be honest, I think these 2 panels alone probably would have been 1 or 2 pages. And Snyder's take, there would have been dialogue between back and forth, even though that was kind of meant to be silent. Whereas Tom King can do it in 1 or 2 panels, Snyder probably would have done it in 1 or 2 pages. That might be a better way to explain it. And that's what I'm kind of saying, like, with Tom King's storytelling avenue of approach, he won't bog down the details. It will seem like some things are kind of inferred, and time will move by a little bit quicker with him, whereas Snyder he'll kind of drag down, bog down the details. And for me, the majority of the time, I enjoy that. I kind of get more depth into my reading style, which it kind of fits more to me. Not that saying it's wrong, not saying that it's right for everybody, but for me, that's why I kind of like it. But that's why Tom King's approach to Batman, it's fresh to me, and I kind of like it. And that it's a break from what we had for almost 5 years. And that this is stretching things out. You're kind of getting a different mode of storytelling, and this would have been, I think, under anyone else's pen, this single one-and-done story might not have been that much success, especially what's really said in it. I mean, I don't think long story short, I think Tomasi might be able to pull it off. There might be I don't think you can really name 1 or 2. There's a small handful of writers that kind of pulled something like this off. And that's a credit to Tom King, where you're getting something simple, not much indeed happens in it, but it has a lot of depth. And it's not just metaphorically, it's, Catwoman trying to find the right costume, get the right fit, juxtapose with things in her past, how it shows how her character and her wardrobe has evolved, but also into how the relationship between Batman and Catwoman is involved, how it evolved is analyzed in here, and I really enjoyed that. There's only one thing that kind of really stuck out to me in this issue, which I really did enjoy this first part, her going into the sewer to kind of, you're wondering what the heck is going on, and then she's blowing up an entrance to get to a costume store. But there's only one, and I think I kind of showed it already, but I'm going to show it again. I just don't know what the point behind this page is. I mean, I got the point, like I was mentioned before, when a future bride is getting ready to get married, sometimes the whole ordeal, just getting a dress, becomes a major social event within the small circle of key people of the bride. I just don't know if this is, again, it's just another way of Selina really trying to find a way to enjoy herself, but just her kind of stripping off her clothes and just rubbing around the floor, it just felt a little odd. But that said, I thought the dialogue was great. I love the art. Joelle Jones. The only thing with Joelle Jones is Batman, and I said it before, it's sometimes the inks, and I think she does her own inks. I think. I don't. Plus, of course, I'm going to check this out. Snyder's name on it. I think this is the only one of the New Age of Heroes. I'm going to try out the new challengers. Who does the inks? Doesn't really say. think Ian and Joelle Jones both do the ranks. I gotta check that. But for some reason, as of late anyway, Joelle Jones's inks get really dark. And this is not that bad as it was, I think, in the Rules of Engagement story arc. No, it was one with Wonder Woman. Or was it the Rules of Engagement? One of the story arcs where she was in, it was just the inks were really heavy. And it kind of bogged down, I think, the feel of the art. Well, this one, while it has a darker tone to begin with, it's not as bad, not as notable. But there's sometimes it's there. But still, really great art to look at. And, of course, Yan Yin's art. And you're not going to get much better. I initially did like a top 10 Batman artists. I kind of did it in the New 52. And I kind of took the video down when I kind of revamped the schedule. There's a bunch of videos that just didn't make the cut. I really wasn't proud of as far as quality. But I think I might revisit it because I think there's some really great artists these days. And I love how Yan Yin just did this 2-page splash. It's great. So it's great to look at. Again, it's a simple story, but it's one that has context when you kind of think about it. And it's enjoyable. Again, it's kind of regroup after we had the Poison Ivy story arc before we get ready to go into the Joker story arc. It's a simple one and done issue that, again, kind of fits the theme that they've been really going after the past 20 issues in the lead up to the wedding. So I enjoyed it. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And I really wish I would have done my homework to see how much is old Catwoman costumes and interactions I think they're kind of referencing, or that those are actually in old, Silver Age or even Bronze Age Batman stories, and just kind of see if they really did happen. Because if they did, I would like to have read those stories, get more context, or at least kind of refresh. Because right now, Batman, I'm not saying I'm a subject matter expert. I have knowledge on Batman, but not all the members of the Bat family or greater Gotham community. I don't have as much. So Catwoman, not as much as probably others. So that's why some of these older stories, I'm just kind of unsure if they really did happen or not. But either way, 3 out of 5, fun. I'm ready for the Joker story arc that has Tony S. Daniel, which is so, anything else, they're going to continue the great art. That's just one thing with this current Batman run. Even with Capullo, and that was great, they're continuing it. You're getting stellar art coming on this title, and even the New 52 to now, it's Batman. It's going to be a visual treat. Again, I'm excited to see Tony S. Daniel come in and see what he does with Joker. And I think it's either Joker toward the end of the arc, and then I know Booster Gold's in. I'm excited. It's going to be, if anything else, great to look at. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Batman number 44. Next book I will get to will be Detective. When, again, really depends on when I get my books. Hopefully, this thing with DCBS kind of gets itself straightened out, because it's putting a hamper on my book reading. But I will say, since I don't have my books yet and won't be to next week, I am going to read or reread some Bat books or Bat trades probably today and maybe tomorrow before I hit the gym up. Probably do another classic, older Batman trade story kind of overview type of thing. I think I know what I'm going to read. But it'll kind of be a game time decision. Probably tonight. See how it goes. So anyway, until that, hit me up in the comments below. We'll bat chat. Go from there. And until next video, take care.